Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you've been following the Falcons closely, you know that this offseason has been anything but quiet. And honestly, it's shaping up to be one of the most intriguing preseasons in recent memory. The Atlanta Falcons, a franchise that's been building patiently, is now entering a phase where every move, every pick, and every signing could define their trajectory for the 2024 season and beyond. And trust me, there's a lot to unpack here, especially when it comes to their roster moves, their draft strategy, and the potential impact of new additions. Let's start with the quarterback position because, well, that's where everything begins, right? The Falcons have high hopes for Michael Penix Jr., the talented quarterback coming from Washington. Penix has shown flashes of brilliance during his college career, and last season, he was among the top passers in college football, demonstrating accuracy, arm strength, and a knack for making plays under pressure. The Falcons are banking on him to be the centerpiece of their offense, especially now that they've seen flashes of what he can do in limited action and in the mini-camps. But as we all know, a quarterback alone doesn't win games. It's the team around him, the offensive line, the weapons, and the coaching staff that truly make the difference. And speaking of the offense, it's worth mentioning that the Falcons believe they have the pieces in place to compete at a high level. They've invested heavily in their offensive line, brought in new receivers, and have a solid running game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Allgeier. But the real story here is how the defense is evolving, especially after one of the most aggressive drafts in recent years. Atlanta used their 5 picks to address critical needs, drafting a linebacker, an edge rusher, and 2 safeties. That's a clear message. They're serious about shoring up their defense, which has been a strength in recent seasons, but still has room for improvement. Yet, despite these efforts, one area that remains somewhat of a question mark is the cornerback position. It's understandable, they didn't draft a cornerback in this recent draft, which might surprise some fans considering how vital that position is in today's pass-heavy NFL. Instead, they signed undrafted free agent Kobe Bryant, a player who has generated quite a buzz. Bryant's story is compelling. Head coach Raheem Morris is very high on him, and he's not shy about praising Bryant's talent and background. Morris has called him the most famous undrafted player he's ever been around, which says a lot about how much potential they see in him. But let's be honest, Bryant is still an unproven commodity at the NFL level. He's got all the accolades and the tape to back up his hype, but transitioning from college to the NFL is a different story altogether. That's why, ideally, the Falcons would look to add a veteran presence to bolster the secondary. Someone like Rasul, for example. Douglas is a player with a solid track record, a guy who's been in the league for several years and has proven he can make an impact. He's a big, physical corner, standing 6'2", and has logged impressive numbers with 14 interceptions and 40 pass breakups between 2021 and 2023. Now, here's an interesting twist. Douglas has reportedly turned down offers from other teams, including the Miami Dolphins, and seems to be holding out for a better situation. That's where the Falcons have an opportunity. With their recent focus on defense and their need for experienced defensive backs, they might be able to bring Douglas in at a bargain price. The Bengals are also in the mix, as they're looking to bolster their secondary and pair Douglas with Cam Taylor-Britt to create a formidable duo on the outside. But for Atlanta, this could be an ideal match. And that's not just speculation. Morris and the Falcons organization have a history of identifying underrated talent and turning them into key contributors. Morris himself, with his defensive background and experience coaching in the league, knows exactly what to look for in a veteran corner. They've already made significant investments in their defense through the draft, but adding a guy like Douglas would give them that veteran leadership and stability they need, especially as the season progresses and the games get tougher. Now I know some fans might be thinking, well, what about the rest of the secondary? That's a fair point. The Falcons currently have A.J. Terrell as their lockdown corner, which is a huge plus. Terrell has established himself as one of the best young cornerbacks in the league, capable of shadowing top receivers and making plays on the ball. But beyond him, the depth chart isn't as reassuring. Mike Hughes, Keith Taylor, Jr. Clark Phillips, III, and others are capable, but they haven't yet proven they can consistently shut down elite receivers week after week. The addition of a veteran like Douglas could be the spark that elevates the entire secondary and helps Atlanta become more aggressive in coverage schemes. Looking at the bigger picture, the Falcons are clearly prioritizing their defense this offseason. Their draft picks reflect that, especially with the selection of a linebacker and an edge rusher. They want to create pressure on the quarterback, disrupt passing lanes, and make teams think twice before throwing deep. The defense has been a strength in recent years, but they're aiming to take that to the next level. And honestly, when you combine that with an improved defense led by Penix and a balanced running game, the Falcons are positioning themselves as serious playoff contenders. The NFC South itself is also undergoing some shifts. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New Orleans Saints, and even the Carolina Panthers are all making moves to improve their squads. The Bucs, for example, have a new quarterback in Baker Mayfield, trying to find their rhythm after Tom Brady's departure. The Saints, with Derek Carr now leading the offense, are looking to bounce back from a shaky 2023 season. And the Panthers, with their new coaching staff and draft picks, are trying to rebuild quickly. The division is wide open, and Atlanta sees this as their window to capitalize. But what about the expectations for Atlanta in 2024? Well, if they can get consistent play from Penix, who's shown he can be a game changer, and if their defense can tighten up with these added pieces, there's no reason to think they can't push for a division title or even make some noise in the playoffs. The coaching staff, led by Arthur Smith and Raheem Morris, has been building steadily, emphasizing a balanced approach between offense and defense, and emphasizing discipline and physicality. They want to be a tough, resilient team that can grind out wins, especially in close games. Of course, every season has its hurdles. Injuries, unexpected slumps, or even a tough schedule could throw a wrench into the plans, but the Falcons are aware of that. That's why they're making smart roster moves now, filling gaps, and ensuring they have options for every scenario. The addition of veterans like Douglas could be a game changer, providing that stability and experience that young players like Kobe Bryant can learn from. It's about building a team that's not just talented, but also deep and resilient enough to handle the grind of an NFL season. Now, putting all of this into perspective, it's clear that the Falcons are not just aiming to be good, they want to be great. They're positioning themselves for a serious run, and everything points to a team that's hungry, well-coached, and smartly assembled. With the talent they have and the strategic moves they're making, it's easy to see why fans are excited. The NFC South could be in for a shakeup this year, and Atlanta might just be at the center of it. Their path to the playoffs, and possibly a Super Bowl appearance, depends on how well they execute these plans, how quickly the new pieces gel, and whether their stars can stay healthy. As the offseason progresses, more moves could come, and the roster could look even more formidable. Veteran signings, positional battles, and the development of young players will all play a role. But one thing is for sure, the Falcons are making all the right moves to give themselves a real shot at making history this season. And for us fans, it's an exciting time to be part of the Atlanta Falcons family. We're witnessing a team that's not just trying to compete but aiming to dominate, to rise in the NFC, and to leave a lasting mark on the league. So, in conclusion, keep your eyes on Atlanta. The pieces are falling into place, and the stage is set for what could be a truly memorable 2024 season. Whether you're a diehard fan or just someone curious about the Falcons' prospects, one thing is clear: this team is on the rise, and the best is yet to come. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's ride this wave together. Because when the Falcons take the field this year, they'll be doing so with purpose, with grit, and with the relentless spirit of champions. And I, for one, can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these moves? Are you excited about the potential of Michael Penix Jr.? Do you believe the defense is finally stepping up to be a top unit in the league? Or are you more focused on the secondary and the possible addition of Rasul Douglas? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the Falcons organization. Every insight, every prediction, every hope counts because we're all part of this journey together. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with even more updates, inside information, and analysis on the Atlanta Falcons. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep supporting our team through thick and thin. Because this season, the Falcons are aiming high, and with your support, they'll have the motivation to push even further. Thanks for being part of this incredible community, and we'll see you very soon with the latest news, insights, and everything Falcons related. Go Atlanta!